If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Feeling good on a Friday. We're live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Strong show so far. Professional sports bettor Frank B on the program a little earlier. And we just talked to Adam Chernoff for the past 30 minutes. More NFL. Best bets coming up with Mike Somich at the bottom of this hour. And we'll get to our best bets within pocket plays in about 45 minutes. The Sunday slate. Pauly, Giants at the Commanders. Washington hovering around a 1.5 favorite in this spot. Total is 43. Now, how about this? Both these teams, with the exception of the Giants 2 years ago, have been down for, it seems like, forever. The Giants are 5-1 straight up and 6-0 ATS the last 6 times they went to D.C. And overall, I know that you're strong on this when they play at home, but since 2020, the Giants are 45-22 to the under, 67.2%.
Mm-hmm. All the numbers point to the Giants. I took the Giants. Contest play. Giants. Washington lost 7 in a row. I did it, my friend.
Wow.
Danny Dimes. And I know he looked like a rookie last week. But Washington lost 7 in a row at home. 0-7 ATS is a favorite. Danny Dimes 6-1 ATS against Washington. Dayball 4-0 ATS against Washington. The average cover by 11 points per game. Right? Daniels now making a start at home, and it was Charlie check down, and it was just dumping it off to Robinson and then some yak. So bad defense. I think the Giants get right here, do enough offensively, and get a win. I'll own it if I'm wrong. Give me the Giants.
All right, so how about this? Washington, I get it. Total overhaul in the offseason. New coaching staff top to bottom. New quarterback, rookie taking number 2 overall. This organization, however, at home, if you go back to 2017, 13-28 ATS against the division.
Jeez.
Well, that makes sense, right? If the Giants have gone there and covered 6 straight, then...
Well, it's also a lot of these games where it was like a home game because the fan base was so infuriated with Snyder. It was, I don't want to show up, and it's a dumpster fire, and Eagles fans taking over, Giant fans. Patriots went there one year, a ton of Patriot fans.
Yep. I strongly urge you to read Steve McKinnon's numbers on college football and the NFL every single week, just to get like some historical perspective and different angles, betting systems. There is one that applies to this game. In Week 2 games between teams that are both 0-1 ATS, underdogs are only 18-21 straight up. However, 27-11-2 ATS after the Bills did it last night. Mm-hmm. You're up more than 15 units overall, an ROI of 40% in that time.
You already cashed that ticket, and that also points to Giants, Tennessee, Raiders.
I understand it's tough to get 5 games on the card. And look, this is coming from a guy who had Giants Survivor on one ticket last week. You like him that much to have him on a contest play? So it's just a total fade brigade of the Commanders?
Yep. And the history.
You're going to hate yourself so much if Danny Dimes does it again.
Yeah, I know.
No, but that's the way it goes in the NFL. You got to come up with 5 plays.
I know. It's tough, my friend. I know.
All right. Chargers at the Panthers. Chargers down to 4.5 at some spots. Total now below 40. Teams that lost on the point spread by more than 14 points in Week 1 divisional games are 16-9 straight up, 15-9-1 ATS in Week 2 since 2007. Carolina was the only spot this week where that applied. And, of course, plus 6.5 was the number that was on the board for a couple of days this week.
Yeah.
Can you have the Panthers on your betting card this Sunday?
Again, I talked about it. This Young more interceptions than touchdowns now after that fiasco last week. So much. What Canales is going to fix them. You watch. Here we go. And it was ugly. But, again, the Chargers did nothing. Nothing in that game. Dobbins ripped off one long run. Raiders handed him the game with some help from Pierce. They're also +3 in the turnover battle in that game. The magic number for Herbert, again, is 24. When they score 24, he's 25-8, held under 24. He's 6-25 straight up. He's become a polarizing quarterback. I like him. I think he's been a horrible, whether it was Oregon or now with the Chargers, horrible coaches, and then it always would seem guys are hurt around him and his key weapons. But This is a tough one. I bet the under in this game. And I'll tell you another thing that helps me out. Dicker, the kicker, is 47 of 47 inside 50. Come on. So again, we're just run the ball, right? Run the ball if I'm Harbaugh. No surprise. You know what we're going to do. And then once we get cross midfield, we'll go conservative. We'll take the 3 points. We'll go home. We'll have a snack, and we'll beat you.
Now, how about another big game coming for J.K. Dobbins?
I like him over.
Okay, because...
What is he? He's like 52 and a half.
Yeah, it's low 50s this week. After what he did last week, I know he busted off one long run, but there's no Derek Brown, right?
Yeah.
On that defensive line for the Panthers, who is probably their best defensive player overall.
It was a joke last week. What the Saints did.
Yeah, and look at what the O-line did for the Chargers against the Raiders front, again, which is one of the better units in the entire league, and Dobbins was awesome. Why would he not be the go-to guy?
Come on, this doesn't get enough attention. We're talking historically bad here. The whole organization. They won 2 games last year, but they were both walk-offs. They never led in the fourth quarter. They've been an underdog in 21 in a row in 30 of 31. They averaged 4.1 yards per play. It was the worst since 2008.
They are, and again, no home field here to speak of.
No.
This team, this organization is 14 and 25 ATS at home since 2019. This, to me, just has the makings of, and I mean, again, sharp money coming in on Carolina the last couple of days to bump this number down. But this is going to be, I can have Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert as my coach quarterback combo, or Dave Canales and Bryce Young. That's a total mismatch.
Mm-hmm. And those were bad interceptions. And again, once again, you look up in the third quarter, and the guy's got 100 yards passing. Everything was garbage time again. So just how many games would you look up and Bryce Young couldn't crack 150 or 200 yards?
Oh. Now, this is a game, again, you're not going to hear many people make the case for the Cleveland Browns because of how Deshaun Watson looked a week ago. Browns are playing at Jacksonville. This number, again, reaches highs 3.5 on the side of the Jags. Down to 3, most spots, 41.5. Jacksonville, should have won that game last week. They gave it away, I thought. Etienne's fumble at the goal line meant everything. Mm-hmm. And this, to me, and I like Jacksonville. I also like the Jets on Monday night, as did the rest of planet Earth. And look at how that went. So when everybody is on one side, like you're going to hear the case here with Jacksonville, that's when you want to run and hide.
Well, Deshaun Cosby has to prove it to me. I mean, he's got to prove it to me that he's okay mentally and physically. We're still with the shoulder injury. Sacked 6 times, 17 hits. And then how much is it upstairs and just holding on to the ball? And a lot of people breaking down film said the sacks were on him. Cleveland's got 4 defensive players on the IR. Again, all 9 road games went over last year. Watson has had a lot of success against Jacksonville and never lost to him. But again, this guy could be that Deshaun Watson's over and done with. Forget it. It's a completely different person, a completely different player. So
right.
I think some people concerned about what happened last night could change their opinion on Jacksonville. Like after what Cook's doing and what the Bills are doing. Why couldn't you move the ball and get shut out in the second half? And you were 2 of 11 on third down, but I understand. If we're all thinking alike, we're not thinking. Yep. But Deshaun Watson has to prove it to me.
I will say this. Typically throughout any NFL season, I'm going to make the case and bet on a lot of dogs. And that means that I'm going to be betting on either bad coaches, bad teams overall, or bad quarterbacks. I don't think I can get there with Bryce Young, and I can't get there with Deshaun Watson. Either I'm going to leave those games off my betting card, or I'll have Jacksonville in the contest -3, and I might find a way to bet on the Chargers on money line parlay. And if I lose, that's fine. I mean, it happens. These guys are so horrendous. And after 1 week, I can't. God bless you. And I hope that you win with the Giants.
Yeah.
I can't get there with them. I just think that Danny Dimes, Deshaun Watson, and Bryce Young, we might be looking back at in week 8 and say, how did they ever start for the first month of the year before these teams pulled the trigger and went to their backups? I'm amazed that Drew Lock's already not the starting quarterback for New York. Watson does not have a long leash whatsoever, and the Panthers are stuck because they gave up all that capital to take Bryce Young.
So are you want the Steelers? Are you going to fade Knicks? Are you going to go with the Tomlin angle? So good against rookie quarterbacks? We're going to win ugly? Going to do this every week again?
Yes.
Same crap with the Steelers?
Yes, they will walk out of there with a win on Sunday.
17-6, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watt wreaks havoc and make a couple plays on offense, and that's good enough, and we'll trot out Boswell from 58.
I know Knicks' number is 174.5 yards passing against this defense.
Uh-huh.
He's probably going to get pressured the entire game, He's probably going to soil himself repeatedly.
Okay.
And it's just going to be completely, again, last week I can't get over that. He had 20 completions at one point in the fourth quarter for 80 yards. So give him 20 completions on Sunday against the Steelers. He's going to have 180 yards? Okay.
Yep. Well,
tough number to get to.
And the numbers are so strong here with the Ravens as well. Number one, if you can't stop Dobbins, what's Henry going to do against you? And there'll be design stuff from Lamar Jackson too. So they thought they didn't even play well, and they still could have won the game in Kansas City. And then plus you got this beast Likely now too. Well, good luck, covering him. Your comeback might be fix the offensive line, and what's Crosby and Wilkins going to do?
The Chargers' offensive line might be a lot better than.
But Slater and Alt held them in check, and they didn't do much. So again, it's Minshew is 1-15 straight up when he's an underdog, and it was ugly offensively. And again, we keep talking about it. It's so infuriating. They have so many weapons, and these quarterbacks can't get on the ball. And the mistakes that the Raiders have made as an organization, not addressing this, whether in the draft or free agency. And again, you could take Tom Brady out of the booth right now. They could win 9 games. But I just think this is where the Ravens get healthy, and all the numbers point their way. And I trust Harbaugh here with the extra time and get this going. If you're a favorite this much in week 2 against a team under 500, another Evan Abrams gem, 85-15 straight up since 2016.
I mean, Baltimore Ravens teasers are going to be ultra popular this week.
Yes.
Down to 2. Right. 2 of the key numbers of 7 and 3.
Well, I'm like you. Like if Minshew beats me, okay. It's right? I mean, this is, I talked about the 0-2 thing. It's like 9% since 1970. You start 0-2 odds to make the playoffs, but it's...
And we talk about like historical numbers with some of these teams, and it doesn't really matter who's been there as the head coach of the Raiders. I actually think Pierce might be worse than any guy they've had recently. This organization is 32-46 ATS on the road / neutral games since 2015. That's who they are, what they do. They've had one good year that I can recall in the last 20 since they went to the Super Bowl. We will get to the afternoon games coming up next here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in. Coming up in 15 minutes, VSiN host Mike Somich will join us in studio. We'll get his best bets this weekend, week 2 of the NFL. Maybe some college as well with him. Do you agree? We talked to Adam Chernoff 30 minutes ago. Made the case for the Cardinals, right? I mean, all this is what we talk about with what is a non-quarterback worth to the point spread on any given Sunday. Probably nothing unless your name might be Christian McCaffrey or a Tyreek Hill or somebody like that. Offensive lineman, not going to be the case. However, when there are cluster injuries to the same unit, and in this case, it could be up to 4 guys, starters who are missing, then that's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
And hence the flip here on why the Cardinals are favored in taking money.
It's a fascinating game because, again, Adam talked about the genius and the creativity of McVay. And maybe he's just so good at scheming and getting guys open, and the total domination of Arizona, it works again. Right? I mean, why were they could have won that game last week. It's ridiculous. Never should have been in that position.
No.
Goes to overtime. I'm looking at Caesar's Cup is 10-1 for most receiving yards. How many targets is he going to have? How many receptions will he have? The guy's going to get his, he's going to eat. That's how good McVay is.
You know some books let you bet targets?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, talk to me.
I would bet,
wow.
I mean, well, it's got to be a huge number.
Yeah. And again, I mentioned that other book earlier. There's a big difference with prices, and I recommend Caesars and Will Hill of that. They put that up every week. But again, the total domination we've talked about, the 13-2 straight up in ATS, the 9 in a row in Arizona.
Yeah.
What happened in the playoff game, Murray just embarrassed himself, that Mickey Mouse throw underhand, pick 6 crap. So maybe Connor eats here from the Arizona standpoint, 25-1. Most rushing, but this is...
And that'd be my guy.
I can't get there. I can't get there with Arizona. And I know with all the injuries, but I just think McVay's so good, and Stafford, and just, okay, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you, Matt Stafford. Okay, let's go throw for 350 and win the game and kick Arizona's ass like we always do.
Yeah, well, I'll point this out again. New coaching staff as of last year. Murray is back healthy. That considered, Murray's been there now for a long time. If you go back to 2018, the year before he got there, but every year since, 21-27, ATS at home, 43.8%. They are 8-17 versus their division since 2020. That's 32%. And they are 16-28 ATS as a favorite since 2016, a couple years before Murray. That is 36%. I thought for sure I was going to be on Rams teasers, but this news never really got any better with the offensive line, so can't really get there with it.
But if you're going against the worst defense in the league, and one could be one of the worst defenses we've seen in a long, long time, okay, that's my comeback. The other thing is I'm very interested from a prop standpoint and fantasy what Harrison does in this game. Because he did nothing in the first. He's supposed to be Randy Moss.
And he talked about how it was really, really bad, too.
But what was that?
He talked about how his week one output and performance was really bad.
But then again, how does Murray miss him? I mean, he's wide open for the game-winning touchdown, too. So
sure.
I think that you see the prop 50, 60 yards and what he could do in this one. So that to be something to look at also.
All right, mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating. Steelers now 2.5 at the Broncos, got up to 3. Sharp money coming in on Denver at that price point. Total has dropped like a rock to this point now. Underdogs in this series, 9-2-1 ATS last 12. Pittsburgh, as a favorite since 2018, 18-27. This is what you say all the time. You can't trust Mike Tomlin against the bad teams.
Right.
Also, they are 93-61 under since 2015. That's 60.4%. And this is from our buddy Tony. He went back and tracked every game.
8-point share.
Goes back to 2014 when the Steelers are favored on the road under Mike Tomlin. The total has gone 30-5 to the under. Do with that what you would like. After this point spread now, like I said, the total rather has dropped to 36.5. Is it still too high? I mean, 20-17 can happen.
Well, it's plus the field goals. I mean, he's going to try. You're going to try 60-yard field goals here.
Well, 50, this is going to be a Denver Mile High.
I know.
So, yeah, both sides.
If he's trotting a guy out from 58 on 4th and 2, what the hell? I mean, it was lunacy. But yeah, he owns rookie quarterbacks. So
actually, do you have a price on that for this week?
Will it be a 60-yard field goal?
No, over 3.5 combined. Is that plus money? This would be a perfect candidate, would it not?
Yeah, that's right.
Low-scoring game, mile highs. I can't imagine. That's probably got to be lower because it's played in Denver than I think other spots would be.
Yeah,
but that would make some sense. I mean, the Pittsburgh offense did nothing last week. I mean, they were all short drives that eventually got into Atlanta territory, and makeable field goals were on hand. And they're like, okay, try them out there again and make another one if you can. That's how they won the game. 18 points, all scored on field goals.
Well, I'm looking. I got makes it point.
All right, well, we'll get it eventually.
Oh, my God. You put Boswell to over 1.5 field goals is $1.60. Huh, come on. Come on now. Kicked 6 last week. Games in Denver?
I think I'd rather have 3.5 over at plus if that's the deal.
Well, okay. Well, who knows?
Right, because then you got to rely on both teams getting to...
Well, who knows what... Okay, well, this is great. Boy, this Caesars app kicks ass. Boswell to make 3 is plus 320. Boswell to make 4 is 9-1.
Wow.
Will Lutz is $1.10 to make 2. He's plus 360 to make 3 plus. That's not exactly 3 plus. 4 plus is 11-1. Chris Boswell plus 320 to make 3 plus field goals.
You got to rely on basically the same thing happening as last week. Are they going to score many touchdowns in this spot? Total says no. Right? Low team total across the board, 19.5 overall. Maybe they score twice, kick 2 field goals, get out of there. Tomlin versus Sean Payton.
Yeah, I threw it out, though. Because it's the numbers. I mean, he's beat him, but he had Drew Brees. So, I don't know where you...
There's a huge difference there.
Yeah.
I'm saying Jerry might be out on Sean Payton.
You've come that far.
Well, I was already there. Why can't we get there?
Well, yeah. You were that...
He was adamant.
You were that it was all Brees. So much more.
Well, a lot of it was Brees, yeah. Well, why not? He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Is that Sean Payton just going out there and because of him? I would say probably not.
Okay, well, look what Denver looked like with Hackett, and then the guy comes in, he almost took him to the playoffs, and he hated Wilson.
Well, why the hatred for Wilson? Wilson was fine last year.
Well, okay. Yeah, but it was all negativity, though.
It was all personal with Payton, is what it was.
That was a bad look, right. They didn't treat him right.
Okay. Any bets for you on the Bengals and the Chiefs, which is the marquee game, the national game in the late afternoon window, 4:25 Eastern time. Point spread came down earlier in the week all the way to 5 for the Chiefs, then bought back up, and 6 again, and the total at around 47.5 or 48. I will say week 1 favorites of 6 points or more that lost their games have bounced back with a record of 20-5 straight up and 19-6 ATS in week 2 since 2002. Cincinnati, the one team that qualifies this week, and the total between these two teams. Now, there's a nice history here, by the way. Mahomes against Burrow, 8-1 under last 9 that they've played. That's in KC.
Strong. Well, the Chiefs have covered 7 in a row, and I would look at Pacheco to have a big game. I know you maybe with the worthy stuff with the comments. Now Brown's out a month. I like Rice to have at least 60 yards. Last year they played when it was Browning. It was nothing but field goals on New Year's Eve. It's always tight. And I know Cincinnati beat them 3 times in the calendar year, in less than a calendar year in 2022. And then the overtime win in the AFC title game. But between the Higgins stuff and now being accused of faking the injury, he's got to come back and address that. What's going on with Chase? Again, the Zach Taylor crap with the first 2 weeks. Extra time for the Chiefs. Guys running their mouth now on the Bengals. I don't like it. I like the Chiefs.
Well, I will give you this on Joe Burrow. Again, phenomenal numbers by Steve Mackin every week, NFL and college at VSiN.com. How about this? Joe Burrow, while he's only 8-9-1 straight up in this spot, he's 14-4 where it matters most. Our apps, our bankroll, our wallets, that's ATS, 77.8%. That's as a dog of 7 points or less. Yep. He's also 16-8 straight up and ATS versus non-divisional conference teams. So in this role, as the dog, catching a number like this, the guy has been outstanding. This is like, it's the perfect overreaction. Nobody right in this country overreacts to anything like week 1 in the NFL. It's the number 1 spot of the entire calendar year.
What about the wrist?
Okay, good question.
Okay, maybe this wrist is going to be a problem the whole year. And this changes everything from a Cincinnati standpoint. I'm warning you, don't place your next bet until you check out Juice Reel. Free tool, bettors love it. REEL lets you connect all your betting accounts wherever you bet. Juice Reel loads all your betting history, gives you in-depth analytics on your own bets. It uses the $4 billion of bets the community sinks into the app to help everyone bet smarter, get stats on yourself, follow real winning bettors, fade the losers, and have a great football season by using Juice Reel as your go-to free betting tool. Grab your phone, download it now. Juice Reel, it's free. Get the app. Juice Reel, free. Juice Reel, REEL.
Big fan of our next guest, Mike Somich, VSiN host, going to join us in studio. He's going to come loaded for Week 2 bets in the National Football League. We'll find out the plays that he likes for this week coming up on Follow the Money. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Joined now by VSiN host Mike Somich. His new show on the weekends, 7 Eastern, called Ready, Set, Bet. And I will tell you, if you've never watched the contest show with Somich and Matt Brown, that's at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific when they go over everything Circa. It's an awesome show. Phenomenal show. You guys do a great job with it. And it's good to see you. Thanks for popping in studio today. How are you?
Doing well. Nice to be back in Vegas here for some Week 2 action. Looking forward to that contest show. It's fun to have to be able to reveal the results live on air, be able to see what the percentages are on Survivor, where everyone is on Million. So a lot of fun there. Derek and Jeffrey join us from the book as well. So it's a great hour of TV.
They're great with the answers. How do you not laugh at the no picks that come in every week?
It's unbelievable. We get the stories. That's the fun part too. Because Jeffrey Benson, who handles a lot of this, he's the one who gets the angry texts, the angry emails from people who didn't pick. So we get to hear the stories of what actually happened with those 45 Survivor entries that forgot to put an entry in. There were 2 10 spots that did not enter a single pick last week of the 45. So 20 of the 45, 2 people came down, put 10 grand into the pool, and walked away.
Can you share the best reason?
Normally it's lost track of time is the most common reason.
That's what Derek said, yeah.
But then it's the texts that follow about how they should not be held to that rule.
Oh, and
it's your fault.
Look, you signed the contract here. It's clearly 4 o'clock. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then people get livid, of course. The people who remain level-headed, tons of respect for them.
It's your own mistake.
Of course,
what are you gonna
and
do?
they own it. They own it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were just talking about this Chiefs-Bengals game. Some movement on it, down to 5 during the week, then back to 6. Total hovering around 47-48. And we went over Joe Burrow numbers. As a dog in this spot, he's like 14-4. However, first 2 weeks of the season, Bengals have been trash with Zach Taylor, as we saw last week. What's your angle on this game?
I just cannot make it 6. Like every which way I go through this, I have the Chiefs favored by 8.5 or 9 points in this game. I think there is a massive miss here on the line. And look, the preseason number was 3.5. The look ahead was 4.5. We were sitting at 5.5 the majority of the week. How in the world is this Bengals team not downgraded multiple points at this point, with one wide receiver and T. Higgins out, Jamar Chase not looking like himself, Burrow looking injured? They couldn't stop the run at all last week. Like, there are so many issues for this Bengals team, and the Chiefs team, I didn't even adjust after week 1, and yet I still have this massive gap. Now, I bet it at -4.5 before the Bengals game last week because I had it at 7, but after the week 1 adjustments, I have this game sitting at 8.5, 9. Like, I don't understand how you can't be on the Chiefs here in this spot. They've also been a better cover team over the last 2 years than people look back and remember. They always remember the games against the Raiders where they blew as a favorite, but they've actually covered the spread consistently. So I think it was 12-4-1 last year, 12-5-1 last year. Like, they are a good cover team as well.
7 in a row right now. Pacheco, 20-1, most rushing yards?
I think he could have a huge week, especially if you look at the game script of this. I mean, Kansas City's a 6-point favorite, and most likely they're going to be ahead heading into the half. If that's the case, they're going to run the ball quite a bit and slow it down. DJ Reader's not in Cincinnati anymore. People seem to be forgetting this. He was the reason that they could stop the run at all last year, and now he is missing. We saw last week they gave up over 120 yards to Stevenson when they knew it was coming. They knew it was coming the whole game, and they still couldn't stop it. So, I don't hate the idea on Pacheco. I like him over 100 yards. You can get him at plus 450 for over 100 yards. I like his over 66.5 rushing number as well. I think Pacheco has a big game here for the Chiefs.
Okay, how about Monday night? And then it's all well documented how Cousins couldn't move, and then there was video coming out of practice where he's trying to do play action. It's like took forever. Like they couldn't move. And then the stuff where it was out of pistol, it was a run 81% of the time. Not one play action. When it was shotgun, it was a pass every time.
It's amazing to me that you have an NFL offense that's willing to do that, where you are going to document or just project your plays to the defense. So you know it's a run and a pistol. You know it's a pass and shotgun. Here's the crazy part for me. Pittsburgh didn't know that before the game. Guess what? The Eagles do. They now know what to expect here. Kirk Cousins moved 3.1 yards per pass attempt in the pocket. 9 feet. He moved 9 feet per pass attempt. If you think about that, that's 25% lower than he's ever moved in a single game. That's like moving from one end of the desk to the other every single time you pass the ball. That means you're not rolling out. There's no play action. 5-step drop is more than 9 feet. Like, he just cannot move at all. And I think this Eagles defense got banged a little too much for what they did down in Brazil. That field was a mess. I think on a better field, you're going to see more of a pass rush out of the Eagles. And I just don't trust that the Falcons are going to be able to consistently move the football. And on the other side, the Eagles have a bunch of advantages from an offensive perspective. I love what Kellen Moore does with motion, how he utilized that to help Jalen Hurts there in his first game as offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore, 5 years in the NFL as OC, of the last 5 years as OC, has led the highest leading offense in the National Football League 2 of those 5 years. I think the Eagles find it easy to put up points, and I think the Falcons are going to struggle here. So I'm happy to lay the 6.5 for the Eagles.
I will say this, a little earlier today, not that long ago, A.J. Brown limited in practice today because of a hamstring injury.
That's not wonderful.
Not great.
not great. I still like the weapons there. I think Saquon is going to be able to have a big day for that Eagles offense, and you've still got Devonta Smith on the other side that can make plays as well.
So the Patriots win week 1, take out a ton of people in Survivor by scoring 16 points, and was just basically Stevenson. So what do you think of their team total here now going against Seattle?
I think it's interesting how people reacted to that game. A lot of positive New England offensive line talk. My favorite stat from week 1, Stevenson averaged 4.8 yards a carry. Stevenson averaged 4.8 yards per carry after contact. 0 yards gained by the offensive line. He was hit every single time at the line of scrimmage when you total it out and average it out. This Seattle defense, to me, is going to be one of the more interesting units throughout the season to watch, and the progression that they make under Mike Macdonald. You listen to Witherspoon after the game last week. He comes out and he says, we haven't even come close to scratching the surface of what we can do around disguising our defense, around stopping the run. this is a situation where we've got Seattle traveling cross country. I don't love that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, the Patriots didn't face any pressure last week against the Bengals. This is a Seattle defense that was 4th highest pass rush rate last week in week 1. I think Seattle able to get to the quarterback consistently, and they're going to tackle Stevenson. They're not going to just let him keep getting 5 yards after every contact. They're 2.8 yards per contact last year for Stevenson. So it's not sustainable there in the ground game.
Okay, that's a phenomenal stat, what you said about the Bengals defense and the yak, or the rack, I should say, rushing yards after contact by Stevenson last week. You know who runs extremely hard? Isaiah Pacheco.
That's
so
another,
what you were saying makes me like that bet even more now.
Yeah, he's going to run through him. Like, if you're struggling tackling, one of the last running backs you want to face is Isaiah Pacheco because of how angry he runs. And so I don't... And you're going to assume you're running behind the best interior offensive line in football against an interior defensive line that stinks for the Bengals. Pacheco, to me, is just set up beautifully to have a big game here. And it's why, again, like if the Chiefs get a lead, I don't see how the Bengals come back, because Pacheco's going to be able to continue to churn out yards on the ground. Another reason why I like a -6.
St. Brown to have 100 yards, plus 140?
Yeah, the Sun God didn't get going last week, and now you roll into a game where it's the highest total of the week right now, sitting at 52 and change up on the board between the Bucs and the Lions here. And this is playing against cluster injuries. So the Bucs secondary is absolutely beat up. They have 3 cornerbacks who are out of the game. They actually gave up multiple pieces in their secondary in the offseason as well. So you're way down the depth chart here. And then you've got Ben Johnson coming to town here, one of the best offensive coordinators. I expect they want to get St. Brown going, that he is going to be a focal point of this offense. And now that you've got Williams on the other side, you cannot just put all your resources towards St. Brown. I think he has a big bounce-back game here. I think this is going to just up and down the field, back and forth, all with the wide receivers. So I'll take St. Brown over 100 yards, plus 140.
Yeah, all those injuries kind of reeks of Ben Johnson really dialing up a pass-heavy offense this weekend, the game plan overall.
Yeah, and the Bucs can stop the run.
Yeah, right.
So it makes sense that you're going to go to your wide receivers and you're going to look to Laporta, you're going to look to St. Brown, you're going to look to Williams. And if that's the case, I think St. Brown is the one that they want to make sure gets going after a bad game. I think he gets fed this weekend.
I'm with you on this one. Dobbins over 56.5.
Yeah, I was surprised it was this low. I mean, week 1, it was 35.5. So we do see a 20-yard improvement here from the book, saying he's 20 yards higher. The carry total was basically split, but when you look at run yards above expectation, Dobbins was running at over 50% of his carries were going over expectation, and Gus Edwards was 12%. I think the long-term goal is Dobbins to be the lead back, and I would expect that happens sooner rather than later. He's also going to get more carries with space in front of him. He's someone who can break plays. And you've got a Panthers defense that's atrocious against the run. And on top of that, they lose their top run stopper on the inside. Their defensive tackle is probably their best player on their defense. So I think Dobbins has a big game here. But if I was going to bet anytime touchdown, I would actually take Gus Edwards, who got 3 touches in the red zone. He's a bigger price, plus 150 right now for anytime touchdown.
Okay. And then does Charlie check down just because of the pressure? Carr just dumps it off to Kamara?
I love the Kamara bet. It's amazing. So right now he's over 4.5 receptions. Cashed this last week at plus 120. Last year in losses, he went over this number every single game. There's 6-point dogs here. So to me, this sets up perfectly for checking it down to Kamara in this spot. You're going to see a lot of passes, hopefully in the second half from the year from this Saints team. He went for 6, 7, 12 and 13 receptions last year when they lost a game against a good pass rush. I don't see how he doesn't get over 4.5 here against the Cowboys.
That's a great angle, and I see that, by the way, juice as low as minus 105 as we speak.
Yeah, I love Kamara receptions. It's one of those things I think gets slept on. He's a big part of this passing offense from a scheme perspective. And then on top of that, you have Carr, who is more than willing to dump the ball off anytime he gets pressure. It sets up for huge Kamara games. Love him in like PPR leagues as well. Dynamite observations. That was awesome. Would you bet him like alt receptions too if you can find it? I would go up to 6.5, maybe 7.5, but you'd need to get 50 cents per reception. Fair enough. Mike Somich, our guest here, his show, Ready, Set, Bet, 7 p.m. Eastern on the weekends. Thanks, man. Great stuff. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. In Pocket Plays coming up next.
Was on coke if his girlfriend was not stuck. These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country. All right, let's recap the greatest opening kick
to be a touchback. Minus 150 winner. Yes, cash it. We've gone from plus 280 to minus 150 in a span of a week with that prop. Shakir over receiving yards winner. Bills Dolphins over 3.5 made field goals plus money loser. I was stunned McDermott went for it there to start the game. Were you?
Yeah, it threw me a little off guard.
4th and 3 from the Dolphins, 17? First drive? You got the field goal in your back pocket? He goes for it, and of course they blow the coverage.
Yep.
Cook's wide open, but I thought for sure he'd kick the field goal. And then Bass missed one later on. So then just the game got away from him. You knew Miami wasn't going to kick a field goal. It was a mess. Well, we have an overtime game week 2. I say no plus 130. Successful 2-point conversions over 2.5. Yes, minus 180. No defensive special teams touchdown parlay. Chiefs, Bengals, Lions, Bucks. Minus 120. Panthers, Chargers under 39. Malik Willis over 25 yards rushing. Minus $2. He can't throw the ball. Now you got this LaFleur business about Love questionable. Keep an eye on that all week too, but that came down while we're on the air. Also, he's plus 160 to get 40 yards rushing. You're going to have to get him out and run some stuff with him because he can't throw the ball. The Raiders could not stop the run, and they gave up a ton of rushing yards last week in the loss to the Chargers. Well, here comes Derrick Henry. Good luck. Over 60 yards rushing is minus $2. And you can bet the latter stuff and all the stuff related with Henry as well. Ravens, Texans, 6-point teaser. Steelers, money line. Colts, money line. Chiefs lane 3.5 next Sunday night at Atlanta. Good luck, Captain Kirk. Can't move against that defense in prime time. We cover it all, Mitch. Morecambe to be relegated. League 2. Even money. 6 matches. They've yet to score. It's a travesty. 6 matches. They don't have a goal yet. And the Atlanta Braves. Now, what do you do if you're Chris Felica? What do you do if you're Will Hill? The Atlanta Braves are now $1.30 to make the playoffs. They are holding 15, 20, and 22-1 tickets to miss. I still think that the Braves schedule compared to the Mets schedule, and then there's still got some distance there between San Diego and Arizona. I still think the Braves are going to squeak in. But the Braves $1.30 to make the playoffs. There you go.
All right. A lot there.
Yep. Love it. Love the action.
Hemorrhaging money in September. Not a great way to start the football season. 1-3 last night. Jeff Wilson, anytime score. I'll tell you, the coaches in the NFL, the injury reports, I don't know what to believe. This is like AI now.
Yeah.
I mean, all week long, Achane, questionable, game time, might not play. Comes out, day of, going to give it a shot. He's in the game last night, down by 3 touchdowns. They pulled Hill, Waddle, everybody else. And Wilson has a history of playing underneath Mike McDaniel when he was in San Francisco and with Miami. Can't be on the field. I thought that was a horrendous job by Mike McDaniel last night.
Yeah.
Power rating down on that guy, all things considered.
He had a bad night.
He really did. Scatabo over 100.5 rushing yards really got me good. Texas State did a remarkable job stopping the run. You could tell that was the game plan. They're like, hey, this guy can't beat us. We'll lose the game. He's not going to do it. He had like 24 carries for 62 yards coming off of a 262 performance against Mississippi State. Kincaid anytime touchdown plus 215, no good.
Was he, the hit there, that's you. How about another one? Right, that was a concussion it looked like, right?
I thought so.
He got hurt right away, and that was, you didn't see him.
Yep, Shakir 50 plus got there, plus 138, so the one winner from last night. Onward, upward. Colts team total over 20.5 is minus 118. Folks, did you watch the game last Friday night? The Packers defense is potentially awful. They were not good last year. That's why I was really impressed by Jordan Love, because he looked good a season ago and he carried the team offensively when the defense wouldn't show up. They've drafted guys high like every year and they just haven't been able to make it work. So Anthony Richardson, hello. Shane Steichen, love the guy as an offensive mind.
Yep.
A lot of their games go over. In fact, my next bet is that Colts, Packers over 40.5. Rumblings here. Jordan Love is questionable. Imagine if he plays now in the game on Sunday. What happens to this number? What happens to the point spread? What happens to the total? I mean, this is going to be at least 3 examples now already to begin the year. Like, all right, guys, come on.
Yep.
Can you stop BSing already? I want everybody to buckle up right now because I'm going to blow your minds.
Seatbelt fastened.
I was hoping, and I looked all day long, my battery drained to like 15%. I wanted every book to post him. He's not everywhere. You can find him a couple of spots. This is the year Damar Hamlin is winning Comeback Player of the Year. He was the Bills' best defensive player last night. He led them in tackles. He was all over the field. Unfortunately, he was the person responsible for the Tua Tagovailoa injury. Everybody made the case last year, only played a couple of snaps, had that one tackle. We all panicked. We all freaked out. He's going to win the award. Didn't. The league and the people in charge of the award voting tinkered with the rules this year, saying that it's for a guy who's coming back off of an injury. Well, he technically didn't even play last year. So he's coming back this year off of missing basically a year and a half, and he died on the football field. People felt bad about not giving him the award. If he plays like this and maybe, I don't know, makes a Pro Bowl, this is the year Hamlin's going to win the award. That's all I could think about last night watching the game. And I searched Vegas sportsbooks. I searched national sportsbooks. I got down 33-1. 30-1 was out there earlier. One book lowered it to 16-1. Here's what I was going to do. I was hoping for every sports book in Las Vegas to post them today at a big number. I was going to drive around all morning and pound kiosks until my wrist hurt more than Joe Burrow's. And I was going to come on. I want just to print this many tickets on this guy.
All right, Goose.
So
nice. Talk to me.
It's Hamlin, Comeback Player of the Year. I want more on it. I want to just bet this until it goes dry. 2 money line parlays this week, Paul. Your thoughts on this? I'm going to parlay the Ravens, Lions, and I'll tie in the Monday night game, plus 106. If I get there, I can get creative and maybe buy back on the Falcons for a middle spot, hoping to win both bets. I'm also doing the same thing. Ravens, Lions, Texans Sunday night game. I need the first 2 legs to get there. And then Texans, that parlay, by the way, pays plus 111.
Yep. And Frank B was on the show earlier. The great Frank B. Always check, does the money line parlay pay better than the teaser? Check that out, too. And we had the defensive touchdown last night, so that parlay lost. Finally, we loser for the first time with the Tua throw. I don't know. Hot take. Remember we used to, once in a while, have dinner with Alan Boston? And Alan Boston, I think, was lactose intolerant. And he would go out of his way and tell the waitress, I'll die. You can't do this. You can't put this on my plate. You can't. Like, you know what Tua's been through. You got Tua. You can't slide.
Slide.
Come on. You know what the ramifications are. You got to, you can't do that.
I know it.
You want to follow the money in the WNBA? Look at this steam tonight. Atlanta 1 up to 4.5. Seattle 6.5 up to 11. Connecticut 5.5 up to 9.5. Ooh, wild.
Yeah. By the way, I Googled this morning Damar Hamlin Comeback Player of the Year. The first thing that popped up, Will Hill, VSiN contributor Will Hill, wrote a story about this last week, unbeknownst to me.
Okay.
And he pointed out to people to bet him at 100-1. He was 100-1 last week.
He was?
Yeah, and he bet him then. I text him today. I'm like, shoot me a text next time, pal.
That's right, I know.
But I was like, right up.
I got that. But I'm going to say it. but Paul Bovey had the McCaffrey news.
Okay, naming names. Good. Go ahead, sorry.
A guy we know had the McCaffrey news.
7-second delay.
At 2 o'clock on Monday night, our time. 2 o'clock, he had the news. Christ, Paul.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Send out an SOS. You message us 14 times a show.
Then he starts complaining about the people he would text, didn't get back to him and get down for him. I go, well,
do you know us?
Yeah.
Let's chat.
Yeah, the one guy didn't respond for 90 minutes. I go, well, okay, Paul.
He's a good dude.
NFL season underway. Never been a better time. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Make this football season your best ever. Every best bet, every host, every guest. All the picks today. My God. Awesome. The menus. The app, so good. Betting splits. Betting systems. Great dog videos. Wayne Gretzky today, the boxer. Everything we do through the Super Bowl, $175. The monthly subscription, $9.99. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get up there now, VSiN.com/subscribe.
Stay tuned. Prime time is next. Humans, Von Tobel on the program. Good luck with your bets this weekend.